Are you ready to start our October Cuties table topper? It's time. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and it's time to start our October Cuties table topper. We are taking a break from working on the Falling for Autumn quilt, and we're going to start on our October Cuties table topper. We'll be working on it all this week. So if you haven't already, click here, up here at the link that I will provide to be able to order your fabric kit from our sponsor. Our sponsor for this project is My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. All right, so today we are going to do the center blocks. The center blocks are on page 26 of our booklet, and just grab your packet. If you've already done all of your prep, then you've got all of your center pieces already together in one packet. So let's go over what we need for today. All right, so our first thing is our main fabric. So our main fabric is this white with black dots, all right? And we want 4 pieces that are 7.5 by 7.5, 4 pieces. Make sure to back these with fusible stabilizer, all right? It's a pretty big piece of fabric. You don't want puckering. You want your project to come out looking great after all the effort that we do to make them look so nice. So 4 pieces of your main fabric at 7.5 by 7.5, backed with fusible stabilizer. It's that white with black dots on it. That's our main fabric. And then we have our applique pieces. So there are just a few. And you know, this is the same, didn't we just do this one? We did it for the sunflowers. So in August, we did the same design, that around the block is what it's called. So we're gonna have our 3 applique pieces. So the first one is this darker, it's like a violet, a dark violet color, and we want 4 pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5, 3.5 by 4.5, 4 pieces, one for each, because we're going to do 4 blocks for our center blocks. All right, 4 pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5, and it's the darker violet. This is for arch 1. All right, and then arch 2, I'm going to hold it up next to this one so you can see the difference, is the lighter. All right, this is the lighter. This is arch 2, and it is a lighter violet color. And again, 3.5 by 4.5, 4 pieces. 4 pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5. So the applique pieces, it's totally up to you if you decide to stabilize them or not. I do. I like to. I think it makes it cut much nicer and lays flat nicer. I like it better. So I definitely prefer to put fusible backing on the back of my fabrics for applique pieces. So 4 pieces. This is for arch 2 at 3.5 by 4.5. And then arch 3 is this purple star fabric, all right? And again, 4 pieces, you want 4 pieces that are 3.5 by 4.5, 4 pieces. This is for arch 3, all right? And then the only other thing that we need is our batting. And our batting, we are going to have 4 pieces that are 6 by 6. 4 pieces that are 6 by 6, and I'll include the batting list that I made of all of our projects for this, or all of our blocks for this project, so that you can do a screenshot of it and write them down easily, or just refer back to it while you're cutting your batting. For the center blocks, we want 4 pieces that are 6 by 6. All right, and we are going to quilt this. So this is that one that we want the quilting to be on top of the project. So we're going to have to move it around because we want those first 4 steps of the quilting to be at the beginning of the project, so that we have our placement for our batting, our tack down for our batting, our placement for our main fabric, and our tack down for our main fabric. But that actual quilting design we want to be at the end of the entire project, so that it is on top of all those applique pieces. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to bring you over to the computer in a bit and open up Embellishment Essentials and quickly show you how you can get them on the top. And also, if you decide to do 2-in-1 hooping, I'm going to do 2-in-1 hooping. Since we need all 4 blocks, it will save on time and stabilizer. So the quilting for this one is going to be center bat, and it says to do it in white in the book, and that's up to you, of course. Totally your project, your way. I'm kind of leaning toward black. Like I think I want my bats to be black and maybe stand out, but I'm not totally sure, because it is on this white with black dot fabric, and it will be over the top of all of our purple around the block. So I have to think about that. So I'm not absolutely sure. I'll show you when I get there. But center bat is the quilting design we want, and we want it centered on the top of all of the applique pieces. I think it says there's special trim instructions on this one, but we basically just, after we're all done, we will measure it to make sure it hasn't shrunk at all, because sometimes if you haven't stabilized the fabric well enough, the stitching will bring it in a little bit, so you have to make sure and check that. And if it is stabilized well, and after you measure it, if it measures at 5.5 by 5.5, then you can cut right on those, the tack down stitch of the main fabric, the basting stitch of the main fabric. But again, you have to measure it first to make sure. All right. You want it to be 5.5 by 5.5, and I'll give more details when we get there. For now, grab your supplies for our center block. We're going to do 4 blocks today, and like I said, I'll bring you over to the computer and show you how to merge them together to save a lot of time from all the applique pieces, and then also how to move that quilting design to the top. Hey everyone, so I'm at my computer now, and I'm going to just quickly show you how to put 2 of these round the block together in one hooping, and how to move the quilting part of the design. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials, and it says I'm on my 7 by 12 hoop. I don't think that will work. Actually, that probably would work. I was going to use my 8 by 12, but let's try the 7 by 12 and see. Either one will work probably, but let's just see. All right, so right down here it says what hoop size you're on. If you're not on the hoop size you want, go up here to this preferences folder, click on the hoop size you want and say okay, and then click on this compass button and click H for hoop. Okay, I'm going to go to merge stitch file, and I'm going to bring in the quilting design. So let me close up Falling for Autumn and open up our Cuties table topper and the quilting bundle, embroidery files. Pez is what I use for my machine. And then we're looking for center bat. So we want the centers, and we want the October centers. So right down here, centers and triangles October. Click on that and it will populate the designs. I'm going to move it over so you can see them all. All right, and there is center bat 5 by 7. You can see that it doesn't have all of the parts on it, just the edges, so that it will fit in a 5 by 7 hoop for those that want to use a 5 by 7 hoop. This one is the 6 by 10 center, and you can see the difference. It just has that placement and tack down of the main fabric. I'm going to click on that, or actually double click on it, and it goes to the center. I'm going to go ahead and click on the design so that I can see all of the parts of it. So there's those 5 parts that I was telling you about. I'm going to go ahead and change those default blues and oranges real quick. And so I'm going to click outside of the design so nothing is selected, then click on 1-1, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color, and the first one that comes up for me is dark aqua because I use Filtech Glide as my preferred thread color. Say okay, and then 1-2, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, which is Blaze. Say okay. And then 1-3, click on the color. I'm going to choose the second color down since we already used the first one. I'm going to choose Marine and say okay. And then 1-4, click on the color. I'm going to choose the second color, which for me is Oriole. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and change this just because I'm here. Why not? On 1-5, click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color, which is Sprout. All right, so that one is all done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that design, and I'm going to bring it all the way up here. I could just use my arrow keys, then I know it stays to the center. It stayed pretty well anyway, so that's fine. Excuse me. All right. It looks like it can go up just a tiny bit, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it. So I'm going to say Control-C to copy this design, and then Control-V like victory to paste it. And it goes right on top of that first one, but you can see here that we have 2 designs. So I'm going to click on the arrow button on my keyboard. Excuse me, I have a moment. All right, sorry about that. I had a phone call. So I've gone ahead and changed all the colors on these. I moved that second block down so that it's down at the very bottom without going over the hoop at all. So everything's lined up just fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in the embroidery design. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and open up the embroidery files. Pez is what I use for my machine, and I'm looking for that around the block. There's the one that we did for August with the different quilting design. So I'm going to go ahead and just double click on this. Here it is, around the block, 5 by 7. It goes to the center. While I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and change these. See all these default blues and oranges again? I'm going to change those, and we have to keep in mind the colors that we used on our quilting. So I'm going to click outside so that nothing is selected, and then click on 3-1, and I'm going to click on the color, and I know I used dark aqua and marine, so I'm going to go to the third color down, which for me is Hawaiian blue, and say OK. All right, and then 3-2, click on the color. I already used Blaze and Oriole, so I'm going to use the third color down, which for me is Coral. Say OK, and then 3-3, click on the color, and I'm going to choose Buttercup, the first color that comes up for me. 3-4, click on the color, and I'm going to go down to Mercury, the fourth color down. And then 3-5, click on the color, and again, fourth color down. Let me see, the last one we used was Coral, so I'm going to use Lava. And then 3-6, click on the color, and I already used Buttercup, so I'm going to use Canary. I want to make sure that these are all separate colors so that we're not joining the wrong things. All right, 3-7, click on the color, and the last color we used was Mercury, so I'm going to choose Tropical. And then 3-8, click on the color, and the last color we used was Lava. You can see it right up here, so I'm going to go to Strawberry Blonde. And then 3-9, click on the color, and we already used Buttercup and Canary, so I'm going to use Mango. And then the last one, this gray, I'm going to click on the color, and I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me is Medium Gray. All right, so those are done. I clicked outside so that nothing is selected. Then I'm going to click back onto this third design so that all of them are selected, and I'm going to move it up. Now we want it to line up with this outside line. So the outside line is the placement and tack down or basting stitch of the main fabric, and we're going to use these placement guides here to keep it at that area that we want. We want it to go right up so you can see it underneath here. I'm just going to get it so that it lines up just right underneath, on top of the placement and tack down of the main fabric. Okay, and you can always zoom in if you click on this compass button and you move this to where you want to zoom in, and then just use your mouse key to zoom in, and you can see I'm right on it. And I used the arrow keys to keep it centered, but if you didn't do that, you can always just make sure to recenter it by using this tick mark here. So that worked out super easily. That was very easy to do. Now while I have this selected, I have all of the third design selected. I'm going to say Control C to copy it, and then I'm going to say Control V like victory to paste it. And you can see now we have 4 designs. So this one I'm just going to move down, same thing. I want it to go on this outer line down at the bottom and up at the top here. We want it to line up with that placement and tack down of the main fabric. All right, just like that. That was super easy to do. Now we should be able to do a color sort and keep them that way. The only thing is, don't forget, we want to bring that quilting design to the top. So what I'm going to do, I clicked outside so nothing's selected, and then I'm going to click on these designs just to close them up so I can see them all at a glance. All right, so we have 4 designs right now. So what I want to do is on this last part, I'm going to go ahead and open up this 1 and 2, so both of the quilting designs, and I'm just going to click on the 5th part of that design, and I'm going to hit the control button and hit the 5th part of the second part of the design. So this is 1-5 and 2-5, and I have both of those highlighted, and I'm going to say Control C, and then I'm going to say Control V, because what that does is it brings it down to the bottom. All right, it takes it, makes it be the last part of the design. And then I want to go back up to 1-5 and select that and click delete. And then I'm going to close up 1, open up 2, and then 2-5, I'm going to click delete. All right, so that way I have the 4 parts of the design of the quilting, but the quilting itself is last now on both of these. And since everything is in the right order, we should be able to do a color sort and make a big difference here. So I'm going to click outside so nothing's selected. It says we have 30 color steps. So I'm going to go to Utility Color Sort. And don't forget, you want these same settings that I have here. Tolerance at 0, none of these are selected. It says it's reduced it by 14 color changes. I'm going to click New View and open it up, and I'm just going to quickly check it. And I'm sorry, the gardener is right outside my door right now. So placement for the batting, tack down for the batting, placement for the main fabric, tack down for the main fabric, and then we start on the first part of the actual embroidery design. So 1-5, those are together. 1-6, those are together. That's the tack down. Then 1-7, there's the decorative stitch. 1-8, those are together. 1-9, the tack down, and then the decorative stitch, the placement for that center part, and the tack down, and the decorative stitch. And then we have those are the placement stitches, and you can go ahead and delete those if you want. I'm going to keep it in. We're not going to stitch that, but I'm going to keep it in just to remind everyone to bypass it. That's 114. And then 115, the last part, is the quilting on top of everything. So that worked out super perfectly. I'm going to do a file, save stitch file as, and I'm going to go to the folder for the Cuties. Let's see. Embroidery files. I believe this is it. Let's see. Yep. All right. And I'm going to say, I'm just going to name it October Center. October Centers ×2. Whatever works for you. You can also put the size of your hoop if you want. I'm going to just leave this as is, I know. All right, and I'm going to say save. Remember, that was a save as, so that you're not going over the file that you had before. And I'm going to go to Utility, Send to Solaris XP1, or you can send it to your USB stick. You would put your USB stick into your computer and save it there. Say OK. And file sent to machine. All right, so that is done. So then I just have 2 hoopings to do instead of 4. If you want to do them separately, that's fine. Bringing them all together makes it just a very quick and easy process. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm excited to see your center blocks. So how are you doing with your goal? Remember, mine is to work on strength, to build strength. I haven't been doing any weightlifting because I'm getting over a cold, but I did go climb Table Rock with my husband. We went and climbed. It's like 800 something feet of climbing in 3.5 miles. So it's a really good hike. It really gets your blood going for sure and your heart rate up high. So it was a great workout. I'll add a few photos of that. How are you doing with your goal? And my shirt today, this is a new one. I made this just recently, and I actually made this to work on a project with my granddaughter. We made the thready box from my girlfriend's quilt shop, and so I made this shirt for that. This is a design from Designs by Juju, and it's a really simple sewing machine design. There's no applique pieces, it's just stitching. And then I personalized it. I added in the middle, it says sewing makes me happy. I added that. And the shirt is one of my favorites. I really like this one. It is from Amazon. I will add a link here if you want a shirt to purchase from Amazon that comes quickly. This is a really good one to work with, very easy, and it's kind of like gender neutral, so it's not fitted. It's a different type of shirt and really easy to embroider on, and it comes in really nice colors. I like this. I love this aqua one, my favorite. It's kind of a mint color. So anyway, I'll add a link for that, and I'll add information of where I got the design from, Designs by Juju. It came in a pack, and I will add a link to that underneath this video in the video notes.